Hello? Hello?
They're coming for you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we delve into a spine-chilling tale that will leave you questioning what you believe about the paranormal. This isn't just any ghost story, it's about phone call that may change your life. Buckle up, because this is one ride you won't forget.
It was a cold, windy night when the phone rang, piercing the silence of my dimly lit apartment. I had been dozing off on the couch, the TV playing some old rerun in the background. The sudden noise startled me awake, and I glanced at the clock on the wall. It was 3:33 a.m., an odd time for anyone to call. The screen displayed an unknown number, and despite my grogginess, curiosity got the best of me. I picked up the phone and answered, "Hello?"
Hello?
There was a long pause, followed by a faint, distorted voice. "They're coming for you." My blood ran cold. "Who is this?" I demanded, sitting up straight. The voice continued, ignoring my question. You. The call ended abruptly, leaving me in stunned silence. I stared at the phone, my heart pounding. The voice had sounded eerily familiar, but I couldn't place it. Who would call me in the middle of the night with such a cryptic warning? A sense of dread settled over me. I couldn't just ignore the call. I grabbed my keys, threw on a coat, and left my apartment. As I stepped into the hallway, I felt an overwhelming sense of being watched. The shadows seemed to shift and writhe, and the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. I took the stairs two at a time, my footsteps echoing in the empty stairwell. When I reached the lobby, the fluorescent lights flickered, casting unsettling shadows across the walls. I pushed through the glass doors and stepped into the cold night air. The streets were eerily deserted, and the wind howled, carrying with it an almost imperceptible whisper. I hurried to my car, my breath visible in the frigid air. As I fumbled with the keys, I noticed something in the rearview mirror. A dark figure standing in the middle of the street, staring directly at me. My heart raced as I jumped into the car and locked the doors. The figure didn't move, but I could feel its gaze burning into me. I started the engine and sped off, my hands shaking on the wheel. As I drove through the deserted streets, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being followed. I checked the rearview mirror again, and my blood ran cold. The dark figure was there, moving impossibly fast, keeping pace with my car. Its features were obscured, but its eyes glowed with a malevolent light. Panic surged through me. I pressed harder on the gas, trying to put as much distance between us as possible. But no matter how fast I drove, the figure stayed right behind me, a relentless shadow. I remembered a small, secluded cabin by the lake, a place where I might find temporary refuge. I turned off the main road and sped towards it, my eyes constantly darting to the rearview mirror. The figure was still there, but it seemed to be slowing down, as if the chase was only the beginning of its sinister game. I pulled into the cabin's driveway, my tires screeching on the gravel. The place looked deserted, but I didn't care. I ran to the door and fumbled with the keys, my hands trembling. The door creaked open, and I quickly locked it behind me. I sank onto the floor, my heart still racing. For a moment I allowed myself to believe that I was safe. As I tried to calm down, my phone buzzed again. I glanced at the screen. It was the same unknown number. Dread pooled in my stomach, but I knew I had to answer. "Hello," I whispered. "You can't run from them, Alex," the distorted voice said. "They will find you. They always do." "Who are you? What do you want from me?" I cried, my voice breaking. There was a long pause, and then the voice replied, "Look under the bed." Fear gripped me. My eyes darted to the bed, and for a moment I was paralyzed. Slowly, I got down on my hands and knees and lifted the bedspread. My flashlight beam cut through the darkness, revealing a small, dusty box. My hands trembled as I pulled it out and opened it. Inside was an old, faded photograph of a group of people standing in front of a large, imposing house. In the center was a man who looked exactly like me. Written on the back in elegant script were the words, "The Chosen One." A loud knock on the door made me jump. I clutched the photograph, my mind racing. The knock came again, more insistent this time. I took a deep breath and opened the door, the photograph still in my hand. Standing there was the dark figure from the street, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Up close I could see its face, a twisted, nightmarish version of my own. "Who are you?" I whispered, my voice barely audible. "I am the Harbinger," it replied, its voice a chilling echo of my own. "You are the Chosen One, Alex. You cannot escape your destiny." Suddenly, memories flooded back, memories I had long buried. I remembered the house in the photograph, the rituals, the voices chanting in the darkness. I had been part of something terrible, something ancient and malevolent, and now it had come back for me.
You must come with me.
The Harbinger said, extending a hand. "Your time has come." I backed away, shaking my head. "No, I won't go with you. I won't be part of this." The Harbinger's eyes burned brighter, and the room seemed to warp and twist around me. "You have no choice. They will take you, one way or another." I glanced at the photograph in my hand, the faces of the people staring back at me, their eyes filled with the same fear I felt now. I knew I had to make a choice, succumb to my fate, or fight back with everything I had. With a surge of defiance, I raised the photograph and tore it in half. The Harbinger screamed, a sound of pure agony, and the room shuddered violently. Shadows writhed and twisted, and I felt myself being pulled into the darkness. But I held on, focusing on the memory of who I was, not what they wanted me to be. The Harbinger's form began to dissolve, its eyes fading into blackness. "You can't escape us," it hissed, its voice growing fainter. "We will always be watching." With one final desperate effort, I tore the photograph into tiny pieces. The darkness receded, and the room slowly returned to normal. I collapsed onto the floor, exhausted but victorious. The sun was rising when I finally dared to leave the cabin. The cold morning air was a welcome relief, and I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the night lifting off my shoulders. I knew the battle wasn't over. The Harbinger's words echoed in my mind, a chilling reminder of the forces that lurked in the shadows. But for now, I was free. I had defied my fate, and I would continue to fight, no matter what came next. As I drove away from the cabin, the pieces of the torn photograph scattered in the wind, I vowed to uncover the truth about my past and the dark legacy that haunted me. I was determined to break the cycle and reclaim my life from the shadows.